So I like to joke around a lot on the channel. And one thing that I always kind of joke about, especially lately, is the fact that I'll say, well, remember, I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber. And a lot of people don't get why I say something like that. And, they think it's just a joke. They look at my body of work, and yeah, it's probably like, what, 75% Nintendo related on this channel. And it's because of the fact that, a lot of these other companies, they don't do big things that interest me. When bigger games come out like Starfield and Spider-Man 2, I'll obviously be talking about them. I'll obviously be reviewing those games. But it's just Nintendo seems to be more interesting all the time because there's a lot more mystery with that company. And obviously you have to look at what your audience likes to hear your opinion on, and it happens to be that a lot of people like to hear my opinion on Nintendo stuff. But when I say I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, I don't mean that in the sense of what kind of content I make. I mean it in the sense that I feel like a lot of Nintendo YouTubers, and not all of them, I'm not saying all of them, so don't go saying, oh, RGT called you. I'm not calling anyone out here. I'm just saying I personally feel like a lot of Nintendo YouTubers are kind of shills. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of hype beasts for Nintendo. They're almost like more so free marketing for Nintendo than actually talking about, problems, inconsistencies, and things that exist that need to be called out within Nintendo. A lot of them don't call them out because they want this kumbaya place of positivity, and that's cool. If that's what you want to do, be my guest. But I'm not that person. I'm the person who looks at things a bit more objectively with critical thinking, and will call out companies when I don't like what they're doing. And I think Pokemon YouTubers are even worse. Once again, no disrespect to PokeTubers or whatever that, segment is, but they literally will say they just want this kumbaya, this peace and no negativity about Pokemon. And they're pretty much just hype beasts for Pokemon. So nobody's calling out Game Freak. Nobody's calling out the Pokemon Company. Nobody's calling out Nintendo for pretty much just lying to us. For pretty much just lying to our face, because Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet came out in a very rough state. If you had no glitches, I am happy for you. I am happy that God looked down upon you and was like, you know what, this person, I need them to have a great Pokemon experience. I'm going to make sure they have no glitches, no frame rate issues, nothing that actually exists within the game. Maybe it's a bit of you telling yourself that it doesn't exist within the game. That's fine. You're convincing yourself to like the game, and then you end up liking the game. It's cool. There are games that have performance issues that are big issues within games that I still enjoy, that I still have fun with. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that nobody can seem to admit that the game has these problems, except when Game Freak and Nintendo come along and say, oh, hey, you know what? We're aware of the performance issues within this game, and we are going to do our best to fix them. So everyone was like, great, they're gonna fix these performance issues. And I said to myself, and I said in the video, I'm not so sure about that. That's kind of something that I feel will be forgotten. And what does that actually mean? Does that mean you're going to improve the frame rate of the game? Does that mean that you're going to improve the graphical glitches within the game? What does performance improvements actually mean? And I was assured by the Nintendo community, I was assured by the Pokemon community that this would be fixed. Well, we had Pokemon's update 1.2 this past week. We had the big Pokemon Presents presentation, which, alliteration aside with the triple Ps, it wasn't a good presentation at all. I didn't like anything that I saw from it. Nothing potentially interested me. And I'm someone who likes Pokemon stuff. Pokemon Legends Arceus, great game. I thought it was a really fun game. It had some technical flaws, but I thought it was a super fun game and definitely a step in the right direction for Pokemon. But we learned about something. DLC, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet. We got this big patch that had this laundry list of things that were being done with it. Some bug fixes and this, that, and the other, fixing basic things within the game, but there was no mention of performance fixes in the game. There was no mention that the performance of the game had been improved. So people, of course, checked out this patch. I don't own the game. I'm not going to own the game because I feel like it's ridiculous that that game sold so well, considering the fact that it released in a very half-assed state, and people are just, encouraging Game Freak to continue to do these sorts of things, encouraging the Pokemon Company, because it doesn't matter what kind of game they put out there. If it's quality or not, people are going to buy it anyways. And sure, retroactively and in retrospect, they might bitch about it and say, oh, this isn't a good game. This game has technical flaws, but it doesn't matter because they already have your money. And once again, this performance patch doesn't exist. The game released in November 2022. I am now in March of 2023, and I still have no word about a performance patch for this game. The only thing that was performance related was the fact that we had some leaker come along and say, hey, you know what, we're working on a graphics performance patch for DLC Wave 2. So they're gonna sell me DLC in this game. They're gonna sell me multiple packages of DLC at astronomical prices, quite honestly, considering the fact that they should just be giving this away, considering that as a thank you for buying the game in the state that it's in and supporting the game in the state that it's in. But no, that's not going to be the case. They need money because they're a small, struggling company. But this performance patch is supposedly not coming until DLC Wave 2 comes along, and it's going to be for a new Nintendo system and this, that, or the other. People like SwitchUp have actually taken a look to see if the performance was improved in this patch, and maybe they just didn't say anything. Maybe this was something that they just came along, they did some things behind the scenes to make the game run better. Oh wait, it technically runs worse at some points. Post-patch. Shout out to SwitchUp. I'll have a link to their video in the description box down below, but the game runs worse at some points now than it did initially, pre-patch. This company needs to be held accountable. This company needs to be called out. Because there's no accountability. Nobody holds these people accountable. Nintendo fans don't hold these people accountable. Pokemon fans don't hold these people accountable. And it's ridiculous. This is the biggest company in the world. This franchise is literally bigger than any other franchise in the world. They have money coming in hand over fist. Oh, well, they had to meet this date to release the game to go alongside. I don't care. I do not give a damn about the development cycle of these games. You know why? I'm not talking about, oh, these people need to have crunch or these people need to work late and, you know, slave away at this game. I'm not saying that at all. This company is so rich that they can have multiple teams working on this game at once, coinciding with the game. You can have people in one region working, and then when people are, you know, asleep, you can have people in another region working on it. There is no excuse. The amount of money that this franchise brings in, this should be a top tier gaming franchise. It should be pushing the Nintendo Switch to its limits. It's not part of the charm that the graphics are, you know, not that great. It's not part of the charm that the performance is all over the place. It's not part of the charm of this game, because the charm of this game should be, this is the biggest franchise in the world as far as generating revenue and income, and it's not being shown within the game. When I see a company like Bandai Namco make, you know, Pokken Tournament and Pokemon Snap 2, games that look generationally advanced over the mainline Pokemon games, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hold this company accountable. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like I said, because you have people going out in droves buying this game's sold over 15 million already. It's probably over 20 million by now in just a couple of months. And people will buy it and they'll bitch. They'll say, oh, you know, this game sucks. I can't believe I wasted my money on it. But it doesn't matter. You still wasted your money on it. And people will be like, oh, well, they're going to fix this game because they don't want, you know, people that looming over their head. No, the average consumer doesn't care. The average consumer's still gonna buy the damn game at the end of the day. So what do you do? I don't know. I don't know what you do. I feel like I've done my part, though. My conscience is clean on this, because as a Nintendo YouTuber, I'm willing to call out Game Freak. I'm willing to call out Nintendo. I'm willing to call out these communities for not doing what they should be doing, for not holding these games accountable and holding this company accountable, because I don't think this performance patch is ever going to come. I really don't. And there's no signs that it ever will come. Pokemon has never done a performance patch for a game before. All because they say they're going to do things, that doesn't mean that you're going to get this. That doesn't mean what you think it means. It doesn't mean you're going to get a rock solid 30 frames per second. Think about that for a second. You are hoping that this game that sold millions and millions and millions of copies from the biggest franchise ever, you're hoping that this console exclusive game that's only developed for one system in mind, you're hoping that with this patch it hits 30 frames per second. If that in 2023, if that's not bizarre to you, I don't know what to tell you. I guess enjoy your Pokemon game. Enjoy living in a bubble refrained from society and enjoying games that run worse than games from 20 years ago. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. Is it ridiculous to you? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I'll be the martyr. I'll be the one that everyone gets mad at for calling out the Pokemon Company and Game Freak. But hey, needed to be done. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.